YouTube. Today I'm here to talk about the intentions that I set for 2019, how they went, and then to set some for 2020. So when I first got this idea, actually from Jessica Calvert-Fozard, what I intended to do was record the video and then take the clips from last year, show them to you, and then respond to me of last year. But I gotta be honest, that video, I'll try to leave a link in the description, but the lighting was sort of terrible. I was experimenting with indoor lighting, didn't go so well. So I think I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to read through, tell you what I said in that video instead, to save you the poor video quality. So, and also I talked in last year about intentions as opposed to goals. I'm still using that framework. So, the first intention I had last year was around career growth. I mentioned that I was up for promotion. I did get it, so I got promoted to senior director in the spring. And in terms of like career growth more generally, yeah, I would say I met that intention. I'm doing more strategic work. I'm, more at a leadership level on my team. So, check. My second intention was to work towards some sort of a tarot offering. I haven't really done this. I've done a tiny bit of like outlining a potential book, but very, very little. And then I actually, as I've been on sabbatical, I was thinking that I was going to do like work on the Oracle deck idea that I mentioned on this channel before, and I just really haven't been connecting with it, so I ended up not really doing that. And I don't know if I'm going to completely abandon it or what, but it's just not really like calling to me right now. So, that one's kind of not really. The third intention was to grow relationships in the tarot community, to like feel more part of the community. I would say definitely yes on that one. So my YouTube channel in 2018, I basically had been doing like pretty consistently recording 2 videos a week for about 6 months with like fewer than 10 subscribers, and then 31 Days of Tarot challenge like was the first thing that brought folks to my channel, and so and I also like use that to learn about channels, and so started commenting on other people started commenting on me, so I definitely feel more connected in YouTube. There's a couple of people that like I feel a specific personal connection with, and also have been like some involvement in other things like Instagram, and so yeah, I would definitely say that I met that intention. My fourth intention was to get right with my relationship with relationships. I would say that I'm growing in this area. I still have a lot of work to do. In fact, I've been pulling cards recently that are like, hey, still focus on this. But I definitely think I've evolved. I started a new relationship this year that, and I think like through that, I've evolved in some way my thinking around what to expect, what I want to be true in relationships. So yeah, I would say that one, yes. And then finally, the fifth one was to receive more tarot readings this year. I didn't really do this. I did one professional reading. Like, I got one professional reading mid-year. And I was so out of it. It was a great reading, but I was so out of it that, like, I didn't even read it really until, like, months. It was a text-based one. I didn't really read it until, like, months later. And then I did get one really powerful reading in person on the nerd cruise I went on in March, that was just like, people offering free readings, and I had been doing a bunch, so I asked one of the other people, hey, can I get a reading? And that was really good. But yeah, I think because I'd been so disconnected from my practice, and even from like having questions throughout the year, that I just, like, it was like, what would I even ask? What would I do with a reading? So not really on that one. But there you go, 3 of 5 ain't bad. So, now let's go into 5 for 2020. So the first intention I have, that I'm admittedly really unsure if I'm going to be able to do, is to divest from Amazon. So I keep seeing more and more about the horrors of Amazon as a company and their practices. And I admit that I'm not certain, that in all cases that the alternatives are better. Like, I don't, certain things that I could get, that I could order, like there aren't like better necessarily alternative companies, but I would like to, and I do intend to, not jump straight to Amazon for everything, particularly things that I don't need right away, and then I can find another source, to just be like, you can pay for shipping, it's fine. So trying to order from other places when possible, to support small businesses or crafters or whoever. But I want to try to use Amazon less. And then, like, I know that because of there are certain things about my situation, disability-wise, spoons-wise, that I'm not going to fully divest. One of them is that the walking distance grocery store for me is a Whole Foods, so, like, I'm not gonna necessarily change that, but I wanna work on giving Amazon less of my money. So that's one. 2 is basically to pull more cards and record less. So I've talked a little bit about this on the channel already recently, but my intention is to read tarot and oracle, maybe even Lenormand more, but to not stress about writing everything down. And I hope that I really, to build my intuition and to also build the, like, turning to the cards more frequently. So that's number 2. Number 3 is just to invest in my depth year, to do what I intend to do. It's pretty straightforward. I recorded a video, I'll try to remember to put a card up, about my 2020 depth year guidelines. So I want to do that thing. Number 4 is to try to focus on 2 areas of life, with a kind of third honorable mention. So I was thinking about, like, the things that really put me in a space that I want to be in, and I realized that I kept coming back to 2 things. So one was tarot astrology, which I would broaden out a little to sort of whatever journey I'm on, personal growth journey, that I'm on, which has been very much through the mediums of tarot and astrology. And then the second is fandom. Like, I think a lot of times it's easy to, like, write off fandom and be like, oh, that's like silly interest, but I really love it, and I feel like I'm contributing to people's happiness, so I'm just like embracing that. And then, not to say I shouldn't like do anything else, but just, that like as random things come up to just like think about kind of focusing on those two things. And then the third like honorable mention is I realized that those two things are both very solo activities, and so I do want to strengthen my relationships, particularly not broaden but like deepen, yeah, that's the word. Deepen my relationships, but I would actually like, I think that is part of my kind of growth journey, so I don't know if that's a third or that's part of the second, but there it is. And then finally, the fifth one is to keep refining systems to be able to focus. So what I mean by that is, if those are the focus areas, I have a bunch of things that I've kind of set up at the beginning of the year that I'm hoping will help me to focus on the things that I want to focus on, but again, no system is, no strategy survives contact with the enemy, so like no system survives contact with day-to-day life. So, my intention is to not give up as I go, and things get hard, to keep refining things, and it can be as simple as like I recently changed the way I shuffle. Not how I physically shuffle, but I changed the way, like when I'm doing readings, I used to, the way I would do it is I would shuffle and then I would put down the cards from the top of the deck. And I realized that it was kind of like, it's like, you wouldn't in a conversation, hopefully, ask somebody 10 different questions in a row and then wait for their answer. So what I've started doing is asking either one question or a pair of related questions, putting down that card or two, and then asking the next question, so it's more like a conversation. And that actually like also relates to how I want to be better in conversation. Like I tend to have this habit of like thinking ahead and being too focused on what I'm saying, and so I want to be better, like deeper listener. I can do the same thing with the cards, is like to be a more active listener, to ask kind of one or two at a time. So that's an example of the kind of thing that helps make my readings better and makes me want to keep going back to them. Similarly, like there might be things with the journals I have, or how they're set up and what I'm writing where, or how I'm doing what when, that I just need to like tweak. So I'm just open to that. So those are my 5. We'll check in at the end of 2020 and see how those went. Don't forget to subscribe if you are not already a subscriber, because I have lots of exciting content coming for you in the new year.